right, this was our breather day, and it all really shakes up tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, it does. And so it's just been getting down to details. This is better to me than on Monday when it was only one model had the storm and the rest didn't. That was more difficult
at this point.
Forecasting wise, yeah. So let me show you this storm here. As I mentioned, it doesn't look like a whole lot at the moment, and a lot of our storms don't. A lot of storms that are nor'easters, which this will be, are not that interesting when they're across the continental United States and into the mid-south here, and eventually it will really strengthen into the mid-Atlantic and over the Gulf of Maine, and that's when we'll see that colder air spilling in. We'll see heavier precipitation rates tomorrow night. So tonight is quiet. Temperatures are below freezing in most spots. Along the coast, we're probably just right around freezing. You wake up tomorrow morning and it's cloudy. There's not a whole lot going on. If you're in far southern Maine, down towards Kittery, for example, you could see a couple of sprinkles, rain showers there early, but most of us will be dry through the first few hours of the morning. It's mid to late morning from southwest to northeast that our precipitation works in. And initially, there'll be spots here, Lewiston, for example, Augusta being another, Sanford, that will end up snow but won't start as snow. So initially, there'll be rain. Foothills and mountains will start as snow, so it'll be an all-snow event there. And even in the middle of the day here, this is 3 o'clock, heavy rain along the coast. It has changed over to snow in Lewiston, probably fighting in Augusta, and it's certainly snowing in Freiburg. But I don't think accumulation rates are all that efficient at that point because we're still, during the day, we do still have some sun angle. It helps warm the asphalt. You've all seen this where it's snowing and the grass is accumulating, but the roads aren't. People will say, well, the road's too warm. It's actually more that it's being radiated from the sun. The problem is this time of the year, the sun sets really early. So by 4 o'clock, when the sun sets, our rain snow line crashes to the south with north winds, and we really start accumulating very efficiently between, I'd say 4 p.m. and midnight is kind of the whole storm here. That's where we see our heaviest snow. Even along the immediate coast, we could change over to snow during that time period, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, but I think accumulation will be hard to come by. It'll be accumulating easily, though, away from the coast at the rate of 1 to 1.5 inches an hour. And it's still snowing around 10, and then it starts to wrap up between midnight and 1 or 2 in the morning, and we're in good shape on Friday. So we've expanded the 6 to 8 bullseye because there's enough moisture, there's enough time to accumulate. To be clear on this, though, verbatim, at a 10-to-1 ratio, which is kind of your typical snow ratio in January, for example, we'd have a 10 to 15-inch snowstorm. But shading that, because we're not going to get 10-to-1, it's going to be a heavy, wet snow, and we're going to have trouble accumulating it initially. So I'm taking that into account when kind of shaving that down, believe it or not. 3 to 6 zone here, and then 1 to 3. I think the toughest places here probably just are Lewiston and Augusta, where they're right between 1 to 3 and 3 to 6, and it's going to depend on how strong their snowfall rates are after sunset. So impact-wise, you're pretty good. By the afternoon, it gets a little dicey in the mountains and foothills, and then by 6, I think it's pretty rough everywhere. I will say, for the coastline aspect of it, it could be hyper-local, and I've seen this down over southern Maine. It happens all along the coastline where Scarborough along the coast and Cape Elizabeth might be rain, and then the north side of Portland may be snow. It's going to be that local along the coast, but for every 90% of the state here will be snowing after sunset tomorrow, and we'll be accumulating that snow.
Yeah, keep in mind the shift once the sun goes down. That's how we really see the change.
It makes a bit. The sun angle is not that strong, but it matters just enough. And when it goes away, then that's when things get tougher.
All right, Keith, thank you.